All right, we're to the last stage of this course. Now, remember, the purpose of the education portfolio is to capture moments of professional growth generated from your program. The purpose of this course that we're just ready to finish it here, put the capper on it, is to help you author a moment of professional growth into your portfolio. And the purpose of this task is just to do some finishing touches, to name your artifact or name your moment of professional growth. We're going to just copy over some links to a couple places so that you can kind of see what standards or what artifacts or moments line up with each standard. So anyway, just put some finishing touches here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to remember where we're at. We've identified a moment of professional growth. Before we even did that, we made sure our portfolio was launched appropriately. We did that. We identified a moment of professional growth. We described the context. We identified an artifact. We reflected on why that artifact or why that moment was important to us in our growth as educators. And then we aligned those reasons for why we selected that moment with standards, which describes why it's important to the field. Okay. So we've done all that work. So now we're going to put some finishing touches on. So what we're going to do is, again, just like always, we're going to share the screen. And remember, I am logged in with my @go.olemiss.edu Gmail account, and that's it. Everything else I'm logged out of. I go to my Google Drive. I find my portfolio file, whatever, and I get to it. So this is the one we've been working on. It's kind of an artifact. Okay. Now you see at the top, it says artifact 2, which is not very helpful to be artifact 2. So we've kind of used 2 examples throughout this course. And so I'm going to just pick one as one. And the one that I've kind of aligned it with is a unit plan, my first collaborative unit plan. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to name a title for my artifact. And again, I don't want it to be jargony. So a title that's memorable, doesn't have to be flashy, but just memorable. So collaborative unit plan. I can also put bad test. That might be a little flashy, but that would be memorable, right? So for other ones, like just again, avoiding language like video of teaching experience versus teach live video might be important, even though teach live video is kind of descriptive. Professional development plan or diversity audit. There's a bunch of different things that you could use for a title here that just is meaningful to you. So instead of artifact 2, which is no meaning, we're making it descriptive. All right. Descriptive and memorable. I'm also going to go over here to the right where it says artifact 2, because even though I changed the title here, I didn't change it there. So what I'm going to do is just a little shortcut. I'm going to copy that text. I'm going to double click there. I'm going to paste it there. So now in my menu, I'm going to see that instead of artifact 2. So there it is. Changed it. You can also change it by going here and going to properties. That'll also change the title. You can do that as well, but just double click and you can change it. All right. So now that we've got this named, what I'm going to do is, and from a previous task, I've got 2 tabs open, one open to standards and one open to my artifact. And so if I remember, I've identified my standards and I got my little justification statement there, but I'm going to remember what standards I've done. So in task 7 standards. So I want to go do those and I want to put a link to this page under each of those standards. So I'm going to go to my in task standard. So this is at CAPE. I want to go to in task. And so for in task, what I'm going to do is I remember the standards. So again, I've got 2 tabs open so I can bounce back and forth. Standard 7 of the in task. Okay. All right. So standard 7, I'll go down to standard 7 and you know what? Let's get that text. Got that text copied. Collaborative unit plan. I'm going to paste that text. But you know what? I don't want it fancy. I want it just normal. And I don't want it centered. I want it to the right. So collaborative unit plan. And I'm going to make this a link. Now, what's cool is that because it's a page that's named that, I can go find it. There it is. There's the link. I want to apply that link. So now this is a link to my collaborative unit plan. So what I want to do is then copy this and just paste it on the other one. So I use standard 7. What else did I use? Standard 10. Standard 10. Remember, it says insert links to artifacts associated to the above standard. So you can get rid of that. I'm going to paste that link and see it's still linked to that page. And then I also identified what the CAPE elementary standards. So I could go to the CAPE standards as well and do it down there as well. But I'm going to do it so far. Okay. And that would be it. So now, when I've done with this, then whenever, I've done a number of standards, I should be able to go to my standards page and see what artifacts have aligned with each standard. So I've got my Teach Live video there under learning environments. And then I've got the collaborative unit plan. And I'm noticing that, hey, that's bolded. Maybe I should bold them all. So whatever I'm doing, I should make sure I'm being consistent is fine. And so there we go. So I can see it for my 2 artifacts. I've got 3 standards or 3 standards connected to those 2 artifacts, which is great. Okay. So that's it. That's the last step, is to name your standard, or I'm sorry, name your moment, maybe a description, a generic description of your, or a memorable but non-jargony description of your moment. So I'd use collaborative unit plan, kind of describes my artifact too. And then I'm going to then link that to the standards that I've aligned this moment of professional growth with. And that's it. Good job.